So I am a social skills educator. That is explicitly what I focused in for my degree. And I got a minor in sociology focusing on intimate family violence and gender so that I could help the spawns to, it's children, I'm sorry, you don't follow me, you don't know that, to help the children better understand, their development. Also because there's a lot of intimate family violence when you teach the population of students that I teach. 4-year-olds don't tend to walk in with PTSD for no reason. But for a while, I was working with college students who were around my own age, and they were just like, Rachel, how do you flirt? I was like, oh yeah, I can functionally analyze that shit. So women are easier for me because I personally find them less threatening and terrifying. Or at least more terrifying on a different level. Pick something you like about their appearance, something that they chose and have control over, and compliment them on it sincerely. Oh my gosh, I love that necklace. That is so gorgeous. If her body language is open to you, then great. And if you can continue the conversation, go ahead. If they close off the conversation after that, if they, say thank you, turn away, or don't respond or whatever, don't pursue. If they're open, you can continue to, hi, I'm Rachel. By the way, what's your name? Oh, that's so nice. So what are something about the place, the venue, or the event we are at? Ha ha ha, how nice to have something in common. And then segue to an area of common interest. This is helpful if they're wearing something that demonstrates a common interest, which is part of why I suggest that if you go to a meet and greet event, or to a bar, or to a social function, that you wear something that says something about you and is still aesthetically pleasing. But if you don't have anything like that, you can always ask about pets. Pets is a very safe conversation. People will always have something to say about pets, whether it's like, oh, I don't like them, here's why, oh, I have a pet, oh, I had a pet. Like, very safe conversation. While you're doing this, focus on making eye contact, focus on smiling, focus on all of those kinds of things. You can make physical contact at this point if it's, shoulder, arm, something above the waist, outer section of the body. After you have established some kind of rapport with them, you take a step further, you make an action move. This could be, can I buy you a drink? Can I get your number or contact information? You could even go as far as to say, I think I'm really lovely. Are you seeing anybody? Here's the power move for me. Whatever you ask, you be clear. I no expectations. I will not be upset if you say no. Works every time. Hi, so still a, degreed and professional social skills educator. Also, by the way, I have autism, so this is part of why I analyze these things. I'm just trying to learn how to people. In the video I just posted about this, I talked about, a soft approach for women to approach other women in public and perhaps walk away with a phone number. That said, you may be able to take a bolder approach if you feel it, only if you feel it. Women will be able to, a lot of them will know if you're faking it. I guess this could work for men. Men, please tread very lightly when you're approaching women. A lot of times, when I wind up approaching a woman, what I'll do is that I will see a woman who is just, breathtaking. And then, without forcing or faking it, I just stop dead in my tracks and I see them just like. And then after a second, I remember that oh my God, there's people watching. They say, I'm so sorry, you are gorgeous. My name is Rachel. Do you mind if I talk to you later? Usually this gets followed up by me embarrassedly remembering that this is incredibly bold and saying, oh God, no pressure. I wouldn't want to impose, just wow. The other way gets a phone number, most of the time, because they will at least want to talk to you. This one doesn't get as many, it's real hit or miss, but when it works, it really works. Women remembering me months later and being like, so you really made an impression. The big selling point is that if they say no, you have to respond appropriately, which is not going to be a problem for us because we know what it's like to have someone respond badly. So if they are like, no, thank you, just be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any offense. You're really gorgeous. I hope you have a lovely day. And then you leave them alone. If nothing else, you will get a reputation for accepting no gracefully, and that is incredibly attractive, as the OP who asked about this will know. And men, if you try this shit, it is very important that the moment that you sense any kind of discomfort, that you're just like, I am so sorry, I didn't mean to be presumptuous, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. And if they say no, that you're like, I feel you. No worries. Have a lovely day. I find it especially as nice if you tell them that, they made your day nicer, even if they said no. The big thing with all of this is that you are creating a sense of safety with the woman, that you are not going to freak out. It's deeply attractive. Trained professional social skills instructor talking about how to flirt. This time with men. Clearly this is not what excites me the most, but I do this. I found that men are simpler to approach, although since a lot of times if you explicitly ask for their number, they get their feelies hurt and feel like their agency has been taken away, So in my experience, you enter the proximity of a man you are attracted to. You look him up and down, you pay him a compliment. We are too old to be playing fuck games. Up and down, you say, you're incredibly attractive. At this point, if they have a partner, a lot of men will just be like, oh, I have a partner. Then what you do is you say, oh, that's so wonderful. Still very attractive. Have a lovely evening. Or if you're feeling especially spicy, you can look them up and down more at your time and be like, lucky person. My most successful usage of this did not get me a phone number, but it did get me this guy approaching me every time that I was in his vicinity anywhere at the party, because we were passing each other and he asked me, how are you? And I just looked him up and down and was like, I'm better now. And he blushed. It was so precious. He was this big buff guy blushing. You can also use the same approach that I suggest using with women. It's just that a lot of men, if you do anything short of shoving them away from you, will take any positive attention as a flirt. So just use a light touch. Men aren't threatened the same way that we are, so it's less about ensuring them that you're not going to try to kill them if they say no, and more just about signaling that you are game. Sometimes just making eye contact and smiling is enough, especially if you give them the once-over. You can also pay them a compliment. You can approach and just say, hi, my name is, and then pay a compliment. Now with flirting, a lot of it is about doing what feels natural for you, so if this does not feel natural for you, please feel free to comment or message me and we can work out a thing that will feel natural with you. I'm just a very upfront person and men have seemed to respond very well to that. The important thing is, as always, that you state your interest, which is just, done through the compliment, and that you are clear that you have zero expectations on them. For me, the way that I do it is that I'm just like, God, you're attractive. I'm sorry. I have autism and no chill. I don't expect anything from this. Just wow. I'm assuming these are vanilla events, so this is how I would handle it there. And some guys might be jerks about it. Some guys might not respond well, but you know what? As far as I'm concerned, they're weeding themselves out. And that's how you talk to men. I just posted a handful of videos about how to approach men and women as a man or a woman in a presumably vanilla context. I also use these at lunches. But my heart screamed, what about the theys? A lot of my designated approach has to do with how you were socialized. People who were raised and socialized as women are often in a position where they need more reassurance that they will be safe, whereas people who have been raised within the safety of manhood usually are a lot easier, simpler to approach. I find that with them, the issue is more maintaining my own safety. That said, days could go either way, although it is notable that since theys also live in a position of being in danger, that being more careful about them can help with that too. And if the approacher is a they, a lot of what I talk about also is what kind of shape you come in, because if you approach someone and you're bringing like lady energy, then a lot of times people will assume you are safe. Whereas if you approach someone, especially someone who has been conditioned to fear men, and you bring any kind of man energy, then you might want to take the extra steps to ensure that they feel safe. It gets a lot more nuanced, and as someone who's non-binary myself, like, it gets a lot more nuanced. I tend to stick to the more mask-gendered angle of it, because even though I present very femininely, I know that I can bring some of that masculine energy and that can be threatening to folks. But personally, if someone brings big they energy, if I can tell that they're not a cis man, my threshold for like threateningness drops a lot. This includes if someone, like, if you're worried, like, I'm a trans woman, I worry that I'm bringing masculine energy. If you're a trans woman, like, and you have signaled to me that you are a trans woman, like, no, you're a woman. And I know creepy men who are trans men. Like, trans men are still men. There is no past there. Sometimes there's a little bit of a past there, but no more than any man would get. Also, if you're a man and you're faking being safe to get into women's safe sphere, but you're actually a creep, fuck you. I know so many men who do that, and eventually we will figure it out. Fake performative allyship to get sex is just fucking insulting. Shame on you. So theys, look at all of them, use what works best for you, and know that I am with you in spirit. Huzzah! So this was liked, which means I assume it is an actual question. I have all autism and no chill, so for me, like, when you're researching seduction, my type would be called a rake and a natural. So people usually like me because I'm just so clearly enraptured by them that I can get away with some really, like, forward shit. Also, the boobs help. Makes me generally less threatening, but you seem like a very sweet person, so, like, I don't know, like, I can't speak for all women, but for me, like, you don't seem threatening to me at all. That's a good thing. I'm not trying to insult you. You do also have very, like, commanding aura, just, like, not a frightening one. So I would just be like, I would invite them over for a snuggle date, which can be completely platonic. I would just say, like, would you like to do a snuggle date, or would you like to do a nap time? And while discussing what this would entail, like, I would just say, you know, you just come over, we'll put something on, we'll just have some snuggles, it doesn't have to be anything else. I mean, if you were interested in doing something else, I find you incredibly attractive. I, in a heartbeat, would, but it's completely up to you. Especially if the person who you're speaking with about this is of the woman-shaped variety, or has any real estate within the identity group of women or non-binary. The idea that you are expressing admiration, that you are offering a choice, but that you are also being clear that your friendship and respect does not hinge on them doing this for you at all, will really matter. And I've seen your content. You can do this. I think you already know that you can do this. You're, like, deeply attractive. I don't know who wouldn't want to snuggle and do other things with you, so, like, you got this. That said, only do things that feel natural for you. It's very clear when something doesn't feel natural. And if this is not a vibe that works for you, I think that the, oh god, what's it called? There's one where basically the proof is in the details. So, like, doing nice little things, making an additional effort to do nice things. So maybe you ask them for a snuggle date and you make sure that you have pillows and blankets that they would appreciate. Just the little touches. That is the vibe I get off of you, as somebody where that extra bit of care is what's going to show them and really sweep them off their feet. If anyone has further questions about this, please feel free to let me know. A lot of the kind of seduction stuff you get on the internet is kind of skeezy and predatory, but I started looking into it as like how to learn how to flirt and how to show and explain to other people how to flirt. And some of the principles can be done in a way that is ethical and consenting, and there's just ways to do it. So if the things that I talk about don't seem like they would work for you, please feel free to DM me and we'll talk it out. None of that pickup artist shit though. That's not for you. You would never. That's for anyone else.